Hello, assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Aisha Khalid and welcome to my channel Math Madness by Aisha Khalid. So today we are going to start with trigonometry, which is part of the AS level math 9709. So let's just start and understand the basics of it. So the basic trigonometric functions that I'm sure that you've also learned in O level math are sine theta, cos theta and tan theta. Sine theta is equals to opposite upon hypotenuse. Cos theta is equals to adjacent upon hypotenuse. Tan theta is equals to opposite upon adjacent. And these are all linked to a right angle triangle. So how do we make a right angle triangle? So let's suppose if this is a triangle and if this is theta, the opposite side is opposite, the adjacent, and the opposite to the 90-degree side is always called the hypotenuse, or the longest slant length is called the hypotenuse. Now, another thing to know is that tan theta can be expressed in the form of sine theta upon cos theta. So this is important to know for this chapter. And 1 upon tan theta can also be written like cos theta upon sine theta. Now, let's understand a couple of more things regarding sine and cos. So this is called my first quadrant. 0, 90, 180, 270, 360. We always go about an anti-clockwise rotation. Okay? And this is also called the first rotation. This is called my second quadrant. This is my third quadrant. This is my fourth quadrant. Now, in this quadrant, sine is positive. Cos ratio is positive. That means if you find out cos 45, sine 30, sine 57, you will always get a positive value. And tan will also be positive because sine positive, cos positive, it will be positive. In the second quadrant, sine is positive. Cos is negative, and plus minus eventually results in a minus. So tan is negative. Sine is negative in the third quadrant. Cos is negative in the third quadrant. And minus cancels out. So tan is going to be a plus in the third quadrant. Sine is negative. Cos positive. And tan is eventually will become a negative. So we often refer to it. This is A, S, T, C. All positive, only sine positive, only tan positive, only cos positive. So this is also one way of understanding the signs of a trigonometric function and learning them. Sine theta is equals to P such that theta is between 0 and 90. Find the value of cos theta. Find an expression for cos theta and tan theta. Okay, so we know that sine theta is a P upon 1 because there is nothing in the denominator. Can I say this is opposite and this is hypotenuse? If I draw a right angle triangle with respect to theta, this is opposite and this is hypotenuse. Using Pythagoras theorem, I can find out this value, which is going to be 1 minus p square the whole under root. So now, so this is going to be 1 minus p square. Now, cos theta is equals to adjacent upon hypotenuse. Therefore, it will become 1 minus p square the whole under root and the hypotenuse is 1. Now, because it is between 0 to 90, it means I'm talking about the first quadrant. And in first quadrant, all cos theta, tan theta, all ratios are positive. This is going to be my answer. Now, the second part. Second part says you have to find out tan theta. Tan theta is opposite upon adjacent. What is the opposite? P. What is the adjacent? 1 minus p square. Once again, tan is positive in the first quadrant, so it will remain positive. Now, why am I saying first quadrant? Let's take another question. Cos theta is equals to minus k plus 1, where theta is reflex. Find an expression for sin theta, tan theta. Since I'm making questions myself, so sometimes I change the questions. This is theta. Adjacent cos theta is equals to adjacent upon hypotenuse. So it's going to be a minus k upon 1, and I'm not taking the minus, I'm just taking the values. Adjacent is 1 and hypotenuse is 1. So using Pythagoras theorem, this is going to be 1 minus k square the whole under root. 1 square equals to k square plus this, so this becomes 1 minus k square and then a whole under root. Alright, now what is next? Next is there's a minus sign, and reflex means that it is more than 180. So if I look at my quadrants, it's in the third quadrant or the fourth quadrant. Now cos is positive, negative here, and cos is positive here. So a negative cos indicates that we are in the third quadrant. Although the question doesn't specify, it just says reflex. Reflex can be third or fourth, but a negative sign filters out that it's going to be in the third quadrant. Now cos theta is equals to, we've already done cos theta. Let's do sin theta is equals to opposite upon hypotenuse, and in the third quadrant sine is negative and tan is positive, so therefore we will write a negative sign outside the ratio or with the ratio. Now let's come to the next part, which is B, which is tan theta. Tan theta is opposite upon adjacent, but tan is positive in the third quadrant, so we will leave it like this. Alright, couple of more practice questions. Given that cos theta is equals to 2 upon 5. So cos theta is 2 upon 5, meaning this is adjacent and this is hypotenuse. Draw it, 2 and 5. So 5 square minus 2 square, 25 minus 4 is a 21. So this is an under root 21. And it is 270 to 360, meaning it is the third quadrant. Tan theta. So tan theta is opposite upon adjacent with a plus sign, because in the third quadrant tan is positive. B part, sin theta. Opposite upon hypotenuse, but sin is negative in the third quadrant. Let's do the third question now. Given that tan theta is equals to a minus root 3, and this is between 90 to 180. 90 to 180 means second quadrant. Sine positive, cos negative, and tan negative. Okay. This is opposite upon adjacent is 1. Opposite and adjacent. Okay. Now opposite square plus adjacent square gives you the hypotenuse square. 3 plus 1 is a 4. So hypotenuse will be a 2, because then you put a square root on 4. Okay, now I want cos theta and sin theta. Sin theta is equals to opposite upon hypotenuse, and sin theta is going to be a positive ratio. Cos theta is equals to adjacent upon hypotenuse, but cos theta will be a negative ratio, because in the second quadrant cos is negative. Alright, these are two very interesting questions. Given that tan A is equals to 4 upon 3 and cos B, where A and B are in the same quadrant, find the value of sin A. Okay, so let's draw two right angle triangles with respect to A and with respect to B. Opposite upon adjacent using Pythagoras. hypotenuse is 5. Okay, 1, this is adjacent upon hypotenuse. Root 3 square minus 1 square. 3 minus 1 is a 2, so it becomes a root 2. Okay, now cos is negative and tan is positive. Cos is negative here, tan is negative here. Cos is negative here, but tan is positive here. It means we are talking about the second quadrant. Okay. Now sine A. So we will refer to the first triangle. Sine is positive in the second quadrant. And sine A is equals to opposite upon hypotenuse. Cos A. Cos A is again adjacent upon hypotenuse. And cos is negative in the second quadrant. So we'll write a negative sign with it. Sine B. Sine B is going to be opposite upon hypotenuse. We can also write a single root, and sine is positive in the second quadrant, so we'll make it a positive sign. Now tan B. Tan B is going to be opposite upon adjacent and is a negative in the second quadrant. All right, question number 7. Question 7, I would want you to attempt yourself. If you have any problems, you can discuss in the comments below and I will respond to you. Take care and Allah Hafiz. Stay tuned for more videos on the same topic, which I'll be discussing later on. Bye.